On this episode of MythBusters, Jamie and Adam get that sinking feeling.
Oh man, oh that sound is so wrong.
To test the myth that if your vehicle plunges into the drink...
Oh my God, it's coming up under the windshield. Wow, I can feel the pressure.
Are you done, or is there a way to escape?
That is intense!
And meanwhile, in the biggest build of its kind in history...
This is gonna be the biggest piece of paper ever.
Grant, Tori, and Carrie attempt to squash the myth
flat as a pancake
that it's an impossible task to fold a piece of paper more than 7 times.
So it sounded so much easier on paper.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
Ow, 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 ow.
And Jamie Heineman.
It's almost too exciting.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
Cue dramatic music.
Joining them, Carrie Byron.
That's gonna be so cool.
Grant Imahara.
Listen to that baby purr.
And Tori Belleci.
Paramedics are nowhere to be found.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Underwater car escape. Something tells me this involves a car in the water.
Shockingly, that is true. This is one I've been wanting to do almost since we started doing this show. The myth is that you're in a car, it goes over the side of a bridge or something into the water and it starts to sink. The myth is you will not be able to open that door until the cabin of the car fills up with water. And then you can open the door and escape.
Sounds like you might be cutting it kind of close, though.
That's exactly what we're going to find out.
It's the stuff of nightmares and spectacular movie stunts. But this sinking scenario is a real-life life threat. So, if you're in a vehicle that takes a dive into the drink, is it possible to escape, or would a watery grave be your fate? The myth is, if you're trapped in a sinking car, you have to wait until the cabin fills up with water and the pressure equalizes before it's possible to open a door and swim free.
I think it's pretty obvious what the plan for this one should be.
Yep. We got to get a real car, we got to put it in the water, and get inside it and go down with it.
Really, I've always wanted to be the dude in the car. You got to let me be the dude in the car.
You can be the dude in the car.
Yes!
Dude, better you than me. But before he gets his feet wet, Adam first sets up a small-scale pressure test. He fills a 3-foot-deep cylindrical tank with water. It's an interestingly improvised, rubbery contrivance that makes perfect sense to him.
On the right here is a box which represents my car. And like a car, it will let water in, but slowly. It'll leak out of a lot of the corners and edges. And when you see that happening, hopefully this unit will demonstrate that the pressure's higher here on this drum that's in the open water than it is on this drum that's in the car.
Adam places a small piece of Perspex loosely on the underside of the box that will represent the door of his car.
Ready? Yep.
Each foot the drum is lowered is equivalent to half a PSI of pressure. In the real world, that's a crushing 1,000 to 2,000 pounds of force on a door.
That's the pressure inside the car, that's the pressure of the water outside the car. If you're inside this car, you're trying to open this door, you can't, because the pressure outside is higher than the pressure inside. Pressure differential. It's happening!
Pressure differential occurs because water exerts greater pressure than air. When a vehicle sinks, the water presses on the doors, holding them shut. When the cabin fills with water, the inside pressure becomes the same as the outside, and it's only then its grip is released. After building up and up, the two lines finally meet.
Watch this door, watch this door.
And release.
There it goes.
To test this theory in a real-life situation, the plan is to suspend a car from a crane. Adam will be the trap driver in front, while Jamie will be in back wearing a rebreather. Then the car will be lowered into the watery depths, with safety divers monitoring the entire operation. Fresh from the classifieds, Jamie has found a classic American sedan with power windows. It runs great.
Never to start again.
Now to pull it apart.
First thing we need to do is remove the engine from the car because any oil, any fluids that would foul the water is going to be a problem.
First, he cuts the welds that hold the engine in place. Wisely putting safety before style, Jamie torches without his beret. Then he ties a chain around the engine that is attached to a forklift. Time to give it a gentle tug. Looks like it doesn't want to come out.
Well, it's holding it.
Maybe it just needs a little coaxing.
What's the matter? Haven't you ever seen somebody work on a car with an axe?
His opponent has been wounded and is starting to weaken.
It's coming.
After a protracted battle, the engine finally succumbs. Jamie is victorious, but the thrill of the kill has gone to his head.
I had to remove the engine from the car to clean the car up, so I did.
Well, there's your problem.
Now that the engine is out, he needs to add its equivalent weight back in.
This thing right here is our engine surrogate. We need to simulate the amount of weight that it represented because the car might settle into the water differently if we don't.
700 pounds of weight is lowered into the cavity.
This is Jamie's new hydrogen fuel cell engine.
And with the weighting checked off, it's time to make like Keith Moon and drive the car into the pool. To conduct their test, Campolindo High School in Moraga is kindly letting us use their aquatic center. Go Cougars!
This is a high school diving pool, and this is where we're going to sink our car. It's about 13 feet deep right here, which should be plenty for us to do our test. It's nice and warm. It'll be great.
Jamie's auto arrives on location. The engine cavity has been steam cleaned, so every trace of oil and grease is gone and won't foul the waters.
Where's the engine?
They attach heavy chains under, over, and in between the body of the car and fasten them to a hook suspended from a crane. This vehicle may not be able to drive, but it sure can fly.
Don't let it go too fast.
No, I know.
You're going to have trouble stopping it. There we go.
They park it on the side of the pool.
Lovely.
Then the crew mounts underwater cameras both inside and out for a fisheye view of what's happening beneath the surface. Aside from his burning enthusiasm, Adam has a burning question for safety diver Sean.
All right, Sean, so I'm gonna be in this car. It's gonna start filling up with water. I'm gonna hold my breath, but when I run out, what's the backup?
Well, the backup is sitting in your passenger seat right there.
That
40
guy.
cubic feet of air waiting for you with a 5-foot-long hose. Remember to purge it and breathe normally.
That's
until
already
we
hooked
get you
up.
out of there. It's ready to go.
And Jamie will be sitting here in his rebreather with this standing by in case I need it.
Correct.
Jamie isn't in the back just to look pretty. He's a certified dive master with 30 years of experience and 3,000 dives under his weight belt.
I'm just going to be sitting there relaxing, waiting for Adam to freak out, and then I'll be right there with the regulator.
So as not to skew the test by adding extra air, Jamie will be using a rebreather instead of regular scuba tanks. Rebreathers recycle exhaled breath and therefore don't create bubbles. It's a self-contained unit that's very 007. Adam's starting to lose his cool.
I'm actually a little freaked out because I'm gonna be like holding myself up off the dashboard. I'll be my face planted into the windshield in this thing. I didn't take that into account, and it's gonna make this a lot more difficult to stay focused and calm.
Let's go do it.
The safety divers swim into position. And Jamie has some final sage words of advice.
Adam, I only have one thing to say to you.
Yeah.
Don't pee in the pool. Because I'm in the car there with you.
Time for Adam to get inside for the ride of his life.
You ready?
I'm all set.
So, wearing no scuba gear, 13 feet underwater, does Adam think he'll sink or swim?
I think it's entirely likely I may need oxygen before this test is complete. I can't get it into gear. Is that a problem?
Jamie and Adam are testing the myth that if your car swerves off the road and into a body of water, to get out alive, you have to wait until it's completely submerged and full of water before you can open the door.
So did you know last year, AAA estimated 11,000 vehicles went off the road and into the water, and as a result of those accidents, 300 people died.
Holy cow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I thought it was more like a freak accident.
Now, apparently it's a lot more common than that.
Well, maybe we can help raise awareness a bit as to what these people are facing.
And what better way to raise awareness than to raise themselves in a car into the sky and plunge into a pool?
What the are we doing?
Remember, when Adam goes 13 feet under, he won't be wearing breathing apparatus. The paramedics are on their toes, and Adam has his escape strategy all worked out.
I'm going to try to start opening this door the moment I see the water get above my glass. Now, if the myth is true, I won't be able to open that door until the water level inside the car gets to the same point.
Deep breaths, Adam, deep breaths. It's way too late to put on the brakes.
I couldn't stop now if I wanted to.
As the water rushes in, Adam is getting that sinking feeling.
Oh, man.
The crane chains go slack, and the car is sinking on its own. The 700-pound fake engine is taking it down nose first, exactly as it would in a real situation.
The water's up to my butt now. All right. Okay, it's coming past my waist. Now I can start to see under the water. Oh my God, it's coming up under the windshield. Wow, I can feel the pressure. All right, I only have a couple more breaths here.
Adam's never this quiet. So what's going on down there? The water is leaking in from every open crevice in the car, and Adam is now fully under. He holds his breath, tugs on the door, pushes his whole weight against it, but nothing happens. Finally, he can't hold his breath any longer and signals for Jamie to pass in the regulator. When the pressure ultimately equalizes, he opens the door and swims to the surface. But it was too late.
Woo! That is intense, no matter how you slice it. I died. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that's put a dampener on things. From the time the water hit Adam's knees to when he surfaced took just 1 minute and 51 seconds. But that's a long time when you're drowning.
The fact is, even though you do go vertical, you don't feel like it because the water is filling the cabin at that point. So you're kind of floating. I held my breath, I don't know, for what felt like 30 seconds, trying to push open that door, using my legs, bracing up inside the cab.
Well, you died.
Yeah, I died.
Jamie's passive observer view was a little eerie.
I'm just sitting there watching the guy drown. He's like just going nuts on that door. He's really using up his oxygen, and it didn't take him that long to run out. You don't want to be in a car when it goes down like that. It's scary.
The bottom line is Adam ran out of air before he could open the door.
That myth is confirmed. I could not open that door until the cab seemed to be full of water for a while.
Yeah, you were giving it all you could, and you just weren't able to do anything with that door until we started to level out. That's the point that you opened the door.
Yeah.
And that was quite a while.
Differential pressure can be such a downer. But now, let's cut to a new myth.
All right, this myth has been around forever.
Okay, what is it?
You can't fold a piece of paper in half more than 7 times.
I don't believe it. Let's do it.
That's why I brought a piece of paper.
All right, let's see. Show us.
All right, that's 1.
This myth is a MythBusters fan site special request. It's a theory that most people first hear in elementary school, and Carrie is finding out it isn't child's play.
Don't break the table.
There's 7. Come on, Carrie, one more. One more, you can do it.
Pump it.
Not giving up yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
8 does. I don't think 8 worked. I think that's 7.
You know what, there's got to be a way to fold this piece of paper more than 7 times.
Okay, well, let's break this down and figure out what it takes to fold it 8 times or more.
I have a feeling you're going to get math involved again.
Correct, Carrie. It's called exponential growth. Every time you fold a piece of paper in half, it gets twice as small and twice as thick. A piece of paper folded just 7 times quickly multiplies to 128 layers. 8 folds doubles again to 256 layers. And the theory is, this is too thick to bend.
Folding paper is so exciting.
To add even more excitement, the team is going to try to bust this myth by making it a friendly competition.
Okay, so the challenge is each of us has 2 hours to take these pieces of paper and see how many times we can fold them. The person that folds them the most wins.
Using standard letter 8.5 by 11 office paper, our first contender, Tori Balachi, steps up.
First, you must massage the paper to get it relaxed so that it'll fold easier. It's 1.
Tori's basic method of folding and rotating is smooth all the way, until he gets to number 7.
This is a tricky one here.
To bend the paper to his will, he needs reinforcements.
Where's the mallet?
Just a gentle nudge is all it needs.
Number 8.
Is he about to wrench this myth open already? The pressure is on to bring it home to 8.
8. Got it.
Or did he? His fellow competitors are not convinced his brute strength technique really worked.
I think you managed to wad it in half 8 times, but look. That's not half.
There's 1.
That's not a fold.
Oh, and you cut the paper.
You cut the paper.
Cut the papers. I'm sorry, dude.
Nope.
Grant's thinking along different lines.
I'm gonna try folding along the diagonal and see if that gives me an advantage.
But Grant can't even crack the 7-fold mark.
Okay.
All intellect thrown out the door, it becomes a Tyson-esque battle between a man and a piece of paper.
Okay, there's almost 7. Obviously, the diagonal's not gonna work.
Carrie's tactic is to focus on the fold.
My way of tackling this 7-paper fold problem is to hopefully use a little bit of compression, a little bit of steam, and a little bit of sanding to make that last fold, which seems to be the problem, a little bit easier.
A homespun touch might be just what this myth needs. After ironing a perfect crease, she rubs it with fine sandpaper.
It's just gonna be a tiny bit thinner. I was just thinking maybe just that like microscopic little edge it could give me.
Her idea may just iron out the kinks in this competition.
Hey, when you're done with this, I was wondering if you can come over and iron my newspaper.
But she, too, runs out of steam at 7.
7 times. That's it. This ends up a spit wad.
Meanwhile, Grant has really been pondering this paper puzzle.
Okay, so I think that this is actually a dimensional problem. And here, this is a piece of 20-pound, 8.5 by 11, like office paper. And it is 3/1000ths of an inch. So, if I make that thinner, theoretically, I should be able to get more folds in the same amount of space. And that's why I have this. This is tracing paper, technically still paper.
Isn't it a little early in the game to start cheating?
Still paper.
A cheat? Quite the contrary. Grant sees himself as a purist.
No hammer, no clamp, no sanding.
Plus, he has a cunning plan to fold lengthwise repeatedly, then widthwise repeatedly.
Now for the folding in half.
If you fold a piece of paper in alternating directions, it doesn't constrain itself with each fold. So it's easier to keep folding.
There's number 8.
8.
But someone still doesn't want to concede defeat.
22. 23.
Grant, Tori, and Carrie are trying to burn a hole in the 7-paper fold myth.
You got something you want to say, Grant?
As a matter of fact, I do. I think it's clear that I won the competition with 8 folds, and not only did I win, I busted the myth.
You know what, though? You got 8 folds, but you changed the method of the folding. The obvious way would be to fold it in half, turn it 90 degrees, and fold it again. Every time we tried to do that, we couldn't get more than 7 folds. I mean, there might be some truth to this myth.
Well, if we use a really big piece of paper, I think there's a possibility that we could get more than 7 folds.
Okay, then let's get the biggest piece of seamless paper we can find and try it again.
All right then. They roll out the biggest seamless piece of paper they could find, 12.5 by 15 feet. In theory, increasing the paper's dimensions should make it easier to reach the elusive 8-fold goal.
You want to have big biceps? Do this. Do this exercise.
For the first couple of folds, the paper is a pushover, but it's shrinking with surprising speed.
Gets real small real fast.
Sure does.
This is 6. It's starting to get feisty.
I don't know about you guys, but it's not looking good for the MythBusters.
They reach the 7th fold. Now to go for the number 8 and break the myth.
All right, you're making a mess of my paper.
So this is 7. We're supposed to get 1 more fold?
Well, maybe.
Good luck.
But no matter what sick methods of intimidation they try, the paper doesn't break.
I like to use the method, don't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, the pulp is victorious.
I have to say this is not looking like an honest 8. It's looking like an honest 7. But unless it just stays in that folded position, I think this 8 might be a little sketchy.
We're stretching it.
The team is all torn up, even using a piece of paper the size of a room, 288 times larger than the letter-size paper. They couldn't crack the 7-fold ceiling. So now what?
This is 6 times thicker than the tracing paper. If we could learn anything from this little exercise, it would be we need to go thinner and we need to go bigger.
Bigger? You got it, Carrie. No one knows space like NASA, and they have plenty of it at an empty airship hangar they've given us clearance to use at Moffett Field. At more than 200 feet high, 1,000 feet long, and 300 feet wide, our crew will really be able to explore the outer reaches of this myth. Their mission? To fold a piece of paper that's almost the size of a football field. The biggest attempt of its kind in the world.
It's huge.
I don't know if this is going to be big enough.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's not a piece of seamless paper on the planet big enough, the plan is to get 17 individual rolls and lay them out side by side. Covering 170 by 220 feet, the team will join them together with double-sided tape. Then they'll use whatever methods necessary to try and fold it into a submission.
Basically, you're going to have to fill this whole area.
Yeah, well, we have 170 feet this way and 220 this way before we get to any equipment. So will that work out for us?
Yeah, it's perfect to scale up an 8.5 by 11 sheet.
Dude, this is going to be a long day.
We have a lot of work.
Then let's roll.
All the way back right to this corner right here.
The paper they're using is special order.
This is the thickness of regular office paper, about 3/1000. What we tried to do in the shop, where we couldn't get 7 folds, was twice as thick as this. And when you're talking about trying to achieve this myth, thickness of the paper is really important.
Going larger and thinner might just give them the edge they need to beat this myth. They position the first roll, give it a push, and they're off.
This is going to be the biggest piece of paper ever.
1 down. 16 more to go.
Their first 220 feet of scroll has been successfully unrolled. To secure roll number 2, they need
double-side tape.
Inch by inch, they press the sticky stuff along the edge of the paper.
Keep it in line.
Now, this, folks, is an example of highly focused, synchronized taping teamwork in action. Time to truck in roll number 2.
Coming down.
Roll down, tape down. I think we get the concept.
I hear this is good for your back.
The art of paper folding is an intricate and time-consuming pursuit that is also often very rewarding. As they set up for the biggest paper folding attempt in history, our team is having difficulty appreciating this.
Maybe I just lie here and it'll get itself done.
The problem that we have right now is I don't think any of us is realizing exactly the kind of scale we're talking about for this experiment. Essentially, this is a sheet of paper the size of a football field, and just maneuvering that, even seaming it together so it's one piece of paper, is going to be a major, major challenge.
Better put them in lockdown so they can't escape.
So it sounded so much easier on paper.
Back at the pool, Jamie and Adam are testing ways to escape a car that's plunged into the drink. They've already discovered that if you wait for the cabin to fill with water so the differential pressure equalizes and releases its grip on the doors, it could be too late. Now, they're going to try out a modified survival technique.
Oh, here we are, day 2.
The first maneuver on their cheating death checklist is to try and open the door before the car starts to sink.
I figure for this particular technique to work, you need to do it right the minute you hit the water. If you hesitate, it's all over and you gotta ride it out.
Here we go.
Adam's plan of action is,
I'm just gonna wait until the water gets up to my ankles, and then I'm gonna try and open the door. There we go. Oh man, oh that sound is so wrong.
the water rushes in.
Okay, I'm starting to see it on the floor, and it's coming up to my ankles. Now I'm gonna try and open the door.
And Adam rushes out.
Surface exit via the door, totally viable. I waited until the water was up to the top of my shoes, and I was still able to push this door open.
The water rises slowly upwards. Next, he's going to wait until it gets to his waist.
Okay, past my shoes, halfway up my shins. All right, now I'm looking at, my God, it's at my knees. I'm not gonna be able to open this door. All right, wait.
This one's no pushover. As the water level climbs, so does the amount of pressure. And Adam has to brace himself against the opposite door to force it open.
I was able to do it.
But only just. This time, he's going even higher.
I'm gonna wait until I see water hit the top of this window. Then I'm gonna use all my strength against the opposite door to try and push it open. Dude, I'm gonna have dreams about this tonight. All right. Water's getting to the top of the window here. All right, here we go. It's almost at the top, almost there. 3, 2, 1, go.
The differential pressure on the other side of the door has become too strong and holds it shut. Adam gamely pushes back, but he's like a krill fighting a whale. It's not long before it's RIP for our little crustacean.
I think we found the cutoff point. Exiting the car via the door after it hits the water is a viable option, but you have this very small window. By the time you can see water halfway up your window, it's pretty much too late.
Back over at Paperfold HQ, the pigeons living in the rafters have left some pointed messages on the team's blank sheets.
It's everywhere.
Nasty.
They'd better tread very carefully. The art of paper folding, known as origami, is believed to have originated as long ago as the 1st century AD in China. Masters of the craft believe it is a pursuit in which you can unlock the secrets of creation.
It looks like a big giant diaper.
That might be a stretch for our novices here today, but finally they reach the last joint.
All hands on deck.
Disperse yourself at even intervals.
Yeah, we gotta space out.
Yeah!
And so the paper becomes one.
That went so much better than I
That's a
thought.
piece of cake. I thought this was gonna be hard.
Looking down from a bird's eye view, it's an impressive sea of white. No wonder those pigeons couldn't resist.
Ooh, look at this ocean of paper. I think this is going to be probably the biggest attempt to fold a piece of paper more than 7 times.
Actually, in 2002, there's this high school student named Brittany Gallivan, and for an extra credit project, she did the 7-paper fold and got more than 7 folds.
What? How?
She used toilet paper and folded it lengthwise, but the toilet paper was 4,000 feet long.
How many folds did she get?
She got 12 folds. She had to use a shopping mall, and it took over 7 hours to fold.
Wow, that's impressive. She may have beaten the 7-paper fold, but she did it lengthwise. I still think the spirit of the myth is folding it in half, turning it 90, and folding it again.
That's true, and within the parameters of the spirit of the myth, that record is still up for grabs.
I say we do it. We just gotta be careful we don't get any paper cuts.
With the paper build finished, they can finally begin folding. It's socks only as the whole MythBusters crew grabs an edge.
Everyone ready? Ready. All right, here we go.
Slowly.
Slowly.
Slowly they pull back the paper, being very careful where they step. But the pigeon droppings aren't their only worry.
My new worry is that this paper's gonna rip when we start trying to fold it. I mean, it's really thin. And the size of these pieces of paper, so heavy, I just see ripping for days.
Is there an ill wind blowing?
It's already a really, really difficult task. The paper has got the littlest breeze, and it starts to fly.
One rip and their best laid plans will be shredded.
Uh-oh, we got a situation.
If you drive your car into the drink, you can't get out alive unless you open a door at precisely the right moment. So is there another window of opportunity?
So we know it's pretty much impossible to open the door once the car is submerged and underwater. The question everyone asks after that is, well, why didn't you open the window? That's what I'm going to do a shop test to find out. I have one electrically powered window and I have one manual powered window. I'm going to put them under the same kind of strain that they'd experience underwater and try and open them.
The 350 pounds Adam is adding is equivalent to the pressure the window would be under at a depth of just 2 feet.
I do not know of a more visual way to make clear how much pressure you're dealing with when you put things underwater.
Then he tries to crank it open.
I should point out that I'm in a really good position for leverage to open this window.
There's not even a sliver of a crack.
There it goes. It just failed. Yeah, the gear just slipped. Under that kind of pressure, there's so much force pushing the glass against the frame of the car that the manual lever is going to break.
Maybe electric windows have more power, but the common perception is they don't even work underwater.
This is the electric door, and the first thing I want to do is dump the electric door in this container with the battery and see how long the electrics hold out for. Okay, here we go.
Battery's on the bottom.
They let it steep. After 45 minutes, surprisingly, it's still going strong.
So you shouldn't be counting on the electrics to allow you to open up the electric window, but it certainly doesn't short out immediately like I thought it would.
So it's not out of the question that power windows could still work underwater. But what about the effect of differential pressure?
You ready?
Uh-huh.
The burden of 350 pounds pressing down on the glass is a real pain.
No, it's not budging. You can see it flex.
Yeah, you can see it trying, but it ain't going nowhere.
So with electric or manual windows, neither would you.
Automatic windows, you are just as screwed as you are with manual windows. 350 pounds of pressure. That's only 2 feet underwater. It's like the bare minimum you'd be encountering. As long as there's still air in the cabin of the car, you would not be able to open this window.
But Adam isn't prepared to expire a third time.
Now that we know you can't open that window because of the pressure, the question remains as to how to open that window. And I'd say you break it. The question is how.
Their plan is to try to break the glass using various items you'd likely have within your reach inside a submerged vehicle. For starters, keys.
All right, you ready?
Go for it.
Adam smacks the glass, but it doesn't crack.
I'm actually able to get a good solid hit on that. Nothing. I'd say keys are busted.
Next on call, a cell phone.
You're just pounding for your life. You're screwed.
Then Adam suits up for another attempt.
So Adam, this is like you've just stolen a car and you got a little carried away and escaping the cops, and now you're underwater, so you're in trouble.
Right, is that my motivation?
Yeah.
Right.
So busting an escape hole might be possible with steel-toed boots.
Oh, ooh, that's so cold. Okay, I'm gonna get to kicking this window out right away.
But the window doesn't crumble. If he had just carried out his community service sentence, he would have lived.
No.
Nothing?
Nope.
None of the items that would be laying around randomly in your car worked for us to break a window. So we get to try the commercially available ones. This is a hammer thing with a point on it, and this is a spring-loaded punch.
They tried the underwater emergency hammer first.
Oh!
What a difference.
Wow!
One hit.
That was instantaneous.
I'll be darned. Well,
that works.
Amazing. A product that does exactly what it says on the box. Next up is a store-bought center punch device, a tool that's normally used to dent a surface prior to drilling.
Put it up against the glass and push, and it does that.
Yeah.
And luckily, I have one more car door.
A new door is submerged, and they're ready for the count.
3, 2, 1. Wow, my hand just went right through.
The reason the store-bought products work is because car windows are made of tempered glass. This means they've been heat-treated so that their surfaces are under compression. Fracture it, and this tension shatters.
That's lovely. The products meant to get you out of that car did exactly that perfectly on the first try each.
It doesn't take much, but it has to be the right thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The guys are completely sold on the commercially designed escape products.
Well, I've got a center punch in my toolkit, and I think one's going to find its way into my glove compartment.
At last, a release. Back over at NASA, our team is finding out that folding a football field-sized piece of paper isn't exactly a breeze.
For instance, the fact that it turns into a giant windsock with the littlest bit of a breeze. There's air trapped underneath it.
But they managed to rein in the billowing parachute without any tears for an official Fold 1.
Let it fall. Pull the slack. Oh, that was beautiful.
They reposition for the next crease.
We're gonna fold that direction.
It's like trying to fold the world's biggest bed sheet.
It's crumpling in weird ways. It's not folding smoothly.
But the team manages to smooth out the wrinkles and make folds 2, 3,
Hey, notice we're all getting a little closer?
4, 5,
Everybody to this side for 6.
and 6. Neat and tidy tuckings.
It's actually like an airbag.
However, with each pass, the additional layers make it harder to heave over. And at Fold 7, everyone and everything is starting to puff.
A lot of air.
Yeah, and it's not going down.
There it is. Yeah, push your foot.
7 is squashed out. Now, the team is about to go for 8. If they achieve this, they will bust the 7 paper fold myth.
See how everybody's very quiet? Because we're all anticipating busting this myth. We folded it 7 times. We're about to go for number 8.
Here goes number 8. Looking good. I think we're gonna do it.
The paper tries to dig in its heels, but is losing its grip.
Come on.
And we did it!
Yeah! 8!
That is 8!
8!
It sure feels satisfying to beat a paper myth to a pulp.
If you draw a line all the way down, you'll be able to intersect every layer, and that is a true 8 folds. And that busts this myth.
There's no stopping our out-of-control paper pushers now. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. Carrie trucks in a giant rolling pin to flatten this piece of puff pastry some more.
Flat as a pancake!
As smooth as rolled dough, it folds back easy as pie.
9.
9!
To achieve double digits, the paper is too heavy for the team to lift themselves, so they stick a fork in it.
Drive in. Drive in.
Oh.
That is a definite 10.
Topping 10 is going to be tough. Thanks to their buddy Exponential Growth, the paper is now 1,024 layers thick. It takes every ounce of strength they have to bend it.
You got it?
That feels like an honest 11 to me.
Nice!
Yeah!
11!
Not only did they bust 7 folds, they turned it up all the way to 11.
You definitely put this one to bed.
Absolutely.
Well, as far as our definition for the myth goes as the fold, we've got it long, we've got it flat. If we do any bit more, it's just gonna be a semicircle. We got 11 folds out of a football-sized piece of paper. We busted a myth, and we're gonna go home before the sun completely goes down. 11 folds.
I didn't think it was possible.
Should we go to the NASA gift shop?
Woo!
Yeah.
If you drive into a body of water, you don't get more than one chance to escape. So is there a best hope scenario? Jamie and Adam are trying to find out.
Something tells me we're not quite done yet, are we?
No. No, we have a whole roster of survival techniques that we've heard about for getting out of a car once it's sinking in the water, and I think we owe it to the fans to try them all out.
So we're going back to the pool.
We are.
Okay. I'll get my wetsuit.
Excellent.
They've done their homework at M5. But it's way more exciting diving back into real-life situations. Next, if your windows jam or it's too late to get them down, you've got to go for broke.
The next survival technique we're going to try is breaking the window. Unfortunately, we can't break the window because it's a pool and, you know, people would get glass in their feet or something. So what we've done is rig the window with a lubricant and with high voltage so that we can really positively pull it down.
The high voltage trigger should be enough to counter the differential pressure.
All right, here we go. That sound again. Here we go, rushing in past my feet. Wow, we are dropping really fast. All right, I'm sinking really fast now. I'm about to hit the switch. In 3, 2, 1.
Adam hits the switch and water enters the cabin like a flood. But he rides out the torrent and escapes.
I lived. The water rushed in just as I thought it would, and it was quite intense. But I held my breath. I only had to hold it for a few seconds because pretty much very quickly the cab filled up. I was able to just go out the window and come to the surface.
By smashing the window, Adam survived. So in case of emergency, break glass. As the silent observer of Adam's numerous dunkings, Jamie has had time to meditate, and he's had a vision. He calls his revelation
Simply patience. The idea being that if you sit there, you relax, you conserve your energy and therefore your air, you'll be able to apply your energy when you need it, right at the last minute when the car's equalized and there's not going to be any problem getting out of it, instead of sitting there fighting the whole way and then you drown.
Adam is at peace with Jamie's guidance.
Let the car fill up. Let it settle on the bottom. Then casually open the door and swim to the surface. It's the maximum conservation of energy technique. It's very Jamie.
Gone through this before. Totally relax.
Adam centers himself inside the cabin. As the water level rises, he goes with the flow and serenely lets the car fill with water. He's under just as long as he was in the first test, but now he's not using up oxygen trying to yank open the door. The emergency air tank remains untouched. Now that's calm under differential pressure. When the cabin equalizes, he gently pushes open the door.
I survived! Woo! The MythBusters technique worked! Woo! How many minutes was I down?
1 minute 37.
1 minute 37. I could have been down for another 15 or 20 seconds. That was beautiful. It was so, it was very cool. The longest period of time for the car to level out. Once it did though, I still felt like I had plenty of breath. I just cracked the door, gave a thumbs up to the camera, and sauntered up to the surface.
Jamie has a final, watery rumination.
Of course, in the real world, this technique's a little more problematic. Everything's happening so fast, you don't know what the depth of the water that you're in is. Best is to open that window before you get water up to it, and then you're golden.
In the words of a Zen master, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. Looks like the guys have narrowed down this myth, just so.
Well, how are we going to wrap this one up?
Well, the original myth we started with, that you can't open the car door until the cab is full of water, is absolutely confirmed. And we've actually looked at 4 really viable survival techniques.
Of course, the best one is just don't drive into the water in the first place.
I'll try and remember that. My personal favorite is your Zen technique.
It worked. It worked like a charm.
That was awesome.
I was just sitting there watching you go. You're looking at your watch, you're kind of chilling out.
Totally. Actually, I find it really relaxing to chill out. I'm going to finish up by doing a little more meditating in the car at the bottom.
Okay.
On this episode of MythBusters, get set for some heavy metal thunder.
There's so much potential for major disaster in this.
We've got the incredible and the inedible.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
As the MythBusters turn heavy machinery into a medieval weapon. And how to keep your cool and your cash. Adam and Jamie go round in circles to settle a great automotive mystery.
I get so much pleasure out of this discomfort.
Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
And Jamie Heineman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. When the MythBusters and machinery mix, the result is usually mayhem. So, what have we here? Let's see. A big crane, some shipping containers,
Cranes and forklifts and everything's all running at once.
and Buster in a boom lift.
I think Buster's about to be annihilated.
Looks like we're in for some big-scale myth busting. In fact, they don't come much bigger than this one.
There's so much potential for major disaster in this.
That's what's exciting.
No matter what happens, something cool is it's gonna look cool.
All right, guys, right off the Discovery website comes an absolute gem for you to do. I'm a little jealous. A poster who gave us the tale of a guy using a boom lift, like one of those extended arm cherry pickers, to try and lift the engine out of his car. He's using a chain or something, and that fails as he's doing it, and the boom lift catapults this poor guy up and over his house and into a tree.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Think you're up to it?
I think that sounds like a real fun one.
Not for Buster, it won't be. He's going to be in the boom lift. A car engine will be suspended from the lift on a length of chain. At the right moment, a quick release mechanism will be triggered. The engine will drop, and Buster will be catapulted out of the boom lift. Simple, right?
Well, you know, it seems pretty straightforward right now, but I think it's going to get pretty tricky, and it's going to use all your skills. First thing we need to do is find a boom lift, and, you know, they're not cheap, so we've got to get right on that.
Well, also remember, it's probably going to be the last thing you're ever going to do with this boom lift, so we don't want to go buy a brand new one.
Maybe we can rent one. What do you think?
Now, seriously, would you rent anything to the MythBusters? Just so happens they found a second-hand boom lift, free to a good home. Jamie and the build team go kicking tires.
We've got pretty good use out of it, but the problem is the engine failed for some reason. I think it needs a little work, but it's going to cost like $3,000, and it's not worth it to us to spend that much money on it. So I'd rather just give it away rather than sell it.
Now, the myth doesn't specify the size of the boom lift. The arm on this one extends 40 feet.
A 40-foot extension is quite a bit, and heck, it's free. I think this is great. This is like a, you know, $50,000 machine or something, brand new, and it works. It's everything we need. You know, who knows, with a little tweaking, it might be just a perfectly functional machine.
It's not like Jamie to just jump in like that. And sure enough, it's not long before that mustache starts twitching.
The only question I would have would be, what are our other choices, and is there one with a longer boom on it? Because 40 feet, it's quite a ways up there, but you know, if you had like an 80 or 90 footer, that would seem more likely to me to be able to, you know, get up to some serious speed out the end of that long of a lever that it would throw something 200 feet.
When it comes to catapulting, size does matter. So it's thanks, but no thanks. On the other side of town, a bigger boom lift awaits.
My throne.
There's nothing these junkyard junkies love more than a good rummage.
Look, he's coming. He's coming straight for us.
This rusting relic has a 60-foot arm.
This feels nice and secure. I definitely get on here and do some work.
And can you believe it? It's also being given away.
This thing's got a little gremlin in it. It'll run just fine, and then it stops.
We call that Murphy.
Yeah.
He's common in our shop.
I think I know what the gremlin is, but basically this boom has reached the end of its boom lift life, so I'm not going to fix it.
Okay, but will the build team be able to get her going?
Hydraulics all work fine on this thing. All the controls work fine. Everything works fine on this thing. It's got an electrical gremlin, and I do believe that it's either that solenoid or it's that one there.
Okay.
The business end still works without the engine. Carrie takes it for a test drive.
They used to call these booms bang-bang lifts. See what happens?
Yeah.
Put your foot here. You feel how it jerks? Okay, feel that?
Extraordinarily bouncy.
Yeah, you can imagine 60 feet out.
Oh, boy.
It's like the end of being on the end of a fishing rod.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what they're talking about.
I could see someone having a lot of fun with this and getting into trouble.
It's gonna be very dangerous very quick.
My friend, that is music to the MythBusters' ears. This bouncy boom lift is bringing out Carrie's sadistic side.
Oh, guys, this is gonna be incredible. Oh, we definitely could throw him. Wow, look at that. It's like a trampoline. That's insane.
Well, that's quite a...
That's a lot of bounce there.
So maybe you guys just need to,
Whoa. This is kind of fun.
I think this is what we want. I think Buster's going for a ride.
Being on a boom lift is a dangerous business. Each year, accidents claim dozens of lives. In those cases, though, being catapulted hundreds of feet isn't the problem. It's the fall from the basket that does the damage. But having Buster topple out of the basket won't be enough for the MythBusters. He'll have to be airborne.
This one first, and then you can extend it out.
Okay.
Guys, I think this one's it. You know, that arm really sticks out there quite a ways. It's a heck of a lever.
Tires got off the ground.
Yeah. You know, he says that it'll run. I guess it's a bit of a risk once we get it up there. We're kind of committed.
It does come with manuals.
And that's probably going to be our biggest problem, is to get this thing running.
Tori, don't worry about the boom lift. How about poor old Buster? Will he be working? Looks like he's been mauled by a great white.
So Buster is really busted up now, like really badly. Even though he still has his head this time, his arm is off. His arm attachment shoulder blade is just all broken up. We already repaired that once. Obviously, it didn't work that well. His leg is off. His ball joint is missing now. So I have to put him back together so that we can then launch him 200 feet from a boom lift catapult.
How did Buster end up in such a mess? Well, Adam and Jamie were trying to crack the elevator of death myth. In the name of science, Buster took an 8-story free fall and soon understood the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, Scotty can do it.
He's still smiling though. He always has that little smile.
The MythBusters want to know, can you turn a boom lift into a deadly catapult?
This is gonna be incredible.
Buster's going to be in the boom lift when it goes off, but he's already gone to pieces. But we can rebuild him. Gentlemen, Scotty has the technology.
So I think what I'm gonna do is rebuild his shoulder and modify it. I'm gonna make it out of steel. The steel is a lot stronger than aluminum for impact. Right, Buster?
Scotty begins the delicate surgery.
It is working.
How's Buster doing?
Both his legs are back on.
Woo! Look nice. I brought you something special. I heard his little heart got broken, so I made him a new one of duct tape for you to put in.
Meanwhile, it's chaos in the car park. The boom lift's about to arrive.
Like that. Isn't that great? You should just trick it out.
It was all you, buddy.
Hey,
good job, man.
Nice work.
You can actually operate this thing almost entirely just off battery power, and so you don't need the engine to run.
But doing it that way sucks up a lot of juice, and the battery will need constant recharging. It'll be better if the engine's running. But first things first, it's touch and go, but it looks like Buster's gonna pull through.
So is that it? Is he ready for action again?
He is ready.
You've done a good
Raring
job,
to go.
Scotty. Look at that, brand new hips. What is that, roll pins? Set screws.
Set screws.
Nicely done.
And there's a grade 8 half-inch threaded stud in there.
No rest for Scotty, though. It's straight from Buster to boom lift. Just a little electrical gremlin, the guy said.
Dry. It's totally dry. Got a hole in the gas line, so Scotty's gonna go see if she can find some new hose, and we're gonna try this again.
Quiet it is.
Oh, go, go. You go. Go, go, go.
Let's let it sit. Maybe it's flooded. It smells kind of gassy.
That's the thing with free stuff. You get what you pay for.
Come on.
I don't know what this is. I don't have one of these on my car.
Don't you know how to fix engines?
Yeah, that's a myth that we're gonna bust right now.
Let's leave Scotty to get on with it. The catapult has been around since ancient Greece. According to the myth, the boom lift became a type of catapult known as a traction trebuchet. Tension stored in the arm itself provides the flinging force. That's what the MythBusters hope to replicate, eventually.
We have an emergency backup which just runs off the battery. We could get it in a position that way, but it wouldn't be as good. It would take a lot longer.
This thing's not gonna...
Whoa. I think it's time to call in the expert.
Would that be Jamie or Adam?
Jamie, in this case.
Tori and Carrie, meanwhile, are handling the crucial matter of signage. Godspeed the tosser, and all who are catapulted from it. Assuming we ever get it going.
You'll have to clean it. It's just a little dirt in there. But the engine works fine. You're going to be in business. There's no question about it. Okay? So I'd pull the whole carb off and do a proper job.
But this is one moody machine.
No.
And the curse of the cantankerous boom lift strikes.
Watch out, sorry. Oh, we got an emergency.
Carrie cops an eyeful of gas.
Go down, go down, go down.
Tastes like the ocean.
Here.
How long do you do this before it's out?
You're gonna do it for at least 15 minutes.
Carrie will be okay.
Well, it's a little red.
A little red.
As for the tosser,
We thought the float bowls and the carburetor were stuck, so I took that apart and got those working. The distributor cap, we took that off. That looked fine. We then went to, Jamie noticed that the points were hot, and I thought maybe then it's not opening, which was the case. Those were stuck together, so we got those open.
it only works in fits and starts.
Want to push that button?
Still, that might be enough to test this myth.
Okay, so our next step is to attach a chain between the engine and the basket with a quick release, and then we'll pull the quick release when we have it under tension and see how far Buster goes.
Ride.
Not surprisingly, Buster seems a little reluctant to get on the boom lift.
Buster! Come on, stop clowning
Oh my
around.
God, he's wet his pants.
As per the myth, a car engine will dangle from a length of chain under the lift.
Just to note, it takes quite a lot of force to move the quick release under load.
How did you guys do it when you did the
I
elevator?
did it with a chain, just a piece of 16th-inch cable.
Okay.
And not only that, the quick release requires an up pull or a down pull, so you'll need to rig a pulley in line so you can transfer that force from the side. Because you don't want to be anywhere near it when it goes up. You're not doing it the Jamie way, obviously.
I know, I'm doing it the Adam way. Quick and dirty, but it gets done. It looks like these kind of accidents happen all the time. It's actually more of a question with this myth whether Buster's gonna be shot over a house or if he's just gonna tumble out of the basket onto the ground. We have a quick release at the bottom of that chain that we can pull a pin out and make this chain snap as if it had broken on its own. Get the same effect, see if we can make a catapult.
For the first test, the tosser's arm won't be extended. Now, just got to work out who's going to operate the quick release.
Rochambeau.
Odd man out. All right.
Whoa.
It's a face-off. Me and Scotty. Looks like Scotty wins.
Right, it's the moment of truth. Will Buster be a far-flung dummy, or is this myth far-fetched?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa!
That was cool. Buster He didn't even move.
Buster barely wobbled.
Well, that was the most anemic catapult I've ever seen. In fact, Buster didn't even budge. He didn't like quiver hardly on that one. So now we're going to lift the boom up to where it's kind of in the same position and extend it all the way out from there. And I'm hoping that that'll actually create a little bit more of a whip when we let go of the engine.
All right, I'm gonna count down. 49, 48. Just kidding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Buster didn't even spill his coffee.
No, he didn't even drop the cup.
Well,
that's it.
Scotty's had an idea.
Well, I'm thinking that if this guy was pulling it from a car and he was up in the basket, the engine might have been caught on something and he couldn't tell, and that would have been enough to break the chain.
So should we get the caddy in here?
It's Earl's turn.
All right, let's hook it up to the caddy.
Jamie, like Buster, is unmoved.
Even if it was double what it just did, which it won't do, you know, nothing's going to happen.
If Scotty believes it can happen, that means a lot of people believe it can happen, so we should try to prove it.
We'll be thorough.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
The size of the boom lift might actually be working against them. The tosser's big enough to absorb the force of the engine's sudden release. Will Earl's weight make any difference?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo!
Wow.
Dude, he's still holding on to his coffee.
Well, there you go. We're going to have to elaborate on the myth.
Yeah. We're going to have to do this MythBusters way?
Yeah.
Doing things the MythBusters way usually spells trouble on a titanic scale. The build team has an idea, and it's a biggie. But before they go big, they've got to go small. Tori sets about building a scale model boom lift.
What we're trying to do is turn this boom lift into a catapult. So an idea we came up with was turning the front axles into an actual pivot point.
Raising, and then just using the weight of the body of the thing as the catapult weight to...
Exactly. And what we're going to do is we're going to raise it up, grab these points here, and then let the actual thing swing forward, just like that. So this is a scale model. Mm-hmm. And then we have scale model truck containers that we're going to use to put this on and use it to lift it up.
Do you think those will be strong enough?
The truck containers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, how much does this thing weigh?
This thing actually weighs around 25,000 pounds.
I can reinforce those.
Well, it also looks like it's not quite high enough to get a full swing. If you wanted to catapult something, you need it to go all the way over, right?
Yeah, right now we're hitting right there, so...
So we got to go up higher.
We'll probably have to get 2 containers.
Well,
stack
they're totally stacked. You can stack them and lock them together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no guts, no glory.
How do you get it up there? How do you cock it? How do you release it? All keeping people far away from this thing, because you're talking about 25, 30,000 pounds. Under 10
swinging in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's potentially extremely, extremely lethal.
But that's what you love, don't you?
Because
I know I do.
Absolutely.
How about a little demonstration using a cutout Jamie doll?
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen.
Take 2.
Well, that's not too bad. That might have made him, you know, like 80, 100 feet or something like that.
I think that's pretty good. That's, you know.
What Tori's proposing to build is called a counterweight trebuchet. This type of catapult, which was popular in the Middle Ages, lets gravity do the work. Big rock at one end, even bigger counterweight at the other. When fired, the counterweight drops and the big rock goes about its business, certain to cause belligerence on the battlements.
You black-hearted, fish-stealing dog. Never, you filthy poacher!
And this would have to be the mother of all trebuchets, a colossal catapult in the heart of rural England. Built by a medieval enthusiast with a lot of time on his hands, this 30-ton monster has no problem flinging fiery fuel bombs. Oh, and if you're in the area, don't leave your vehicle unattended.
Well, not bad, eh? Not bad. Smashed it up pretty nice. It won't drive again anyway, I don't think.
Not very well, no.
Will the tosser be able to wreak similar havoc?
You're going to have a big crane to get this up there in the first place. It's like lots and lots of massive steel, heavy equipment. I know I can
Heavy
see it getting
metal.
exciting already.
Love it.
This is a big build. Are you sure you're up for it?
It's a big, big build, a lot of elements to get it together, but it absolutely looks doable.
Turning heavy machinery into a medieval weapon.
Wow, that was actually fantastic.
It doesn't get any more MythBusters than that. With world oil prices on the rise, everyone's looking for ways to save pennies at the pump. How can you get better fuel economy? Gentlemen, start your engines.
So is this really an urban legend, Jamie?
No, it's more of an urban puzzle.
Like one of those things you would discuss endlessly sitting in traffic or debate on a road trip.
Yeah, the idea is that on a really hot day, it's more efficient to run with your air conditioning on full blast and your windows up than it is to drive with the windows down and the AC off.
Well, that seems pretty logical. That seems right to me.
I don't know about that. AC uses an awful lot of power.
Oh, I think a car with the windows open is creating an awful lot of drag.
That's what makes it a perfect test for MythBusters.
And that would be us.
That would be us.
All right.
Ever since the first auto air conditioners arrived in the 1940s, drivers have asked the question, do you get better fuel economy with the AC on or the windows down? The MythBusters are about to run 2 tests to find out once and for all.
We're at the Altamont Raceway, and we're going to test whether it's more efficient to drive with your AC on or with the windows open.
Auto computer gurus Bob and Jesse are helping out with the first test. This computer will measure fuel consumption by monitoring the rate of airflow through the SUV's engine.
This was going to calculate our average miles per gallon. This is our estimated miles per gallon.
We've got a computer hooked up to the car. We're going to do 15 laps, 5 with the windows up, 5 with the windows down, and 5 with the windows up and the AC on full. And we're going to see if the computer shows us a significant difference in the mileage of the car under those conditions.
Time to hit the road.
All right, on my countdown, in 5, 4,
3, 2, 1, go.
The first 5 laps will measure fuel consumption with the windows up and the AC off. Now, this won't be a leisurely Sunday drive. SUVs aren't built for racetracks. Their tires certainly aren't. Also, the track is banked, and Jamie will have to concentrate all the way.
Jamie's going to hate this a lot more than I am. I mean, I'm not going to find it pleasant, but I get so much pleasure out of his discomfort. You know, Jamie, they regularly pull 160 miles per hour on this track. I'm not going to be laughing in a couple minutes when I'm plowing one of these behemoths across the lanes.
Jamie keeps the needle hovering at around 55 miles per hour. After 5 laps, with the windows up, the fuel consumption figures are in.
Right now we're averaging 11.7 miles to a gallon.
Now it's time to roll the windows down. Repeat, roll the windows down.
Looks like we're averaging about 11.4 to 11.3 with all the windows down in the vehicle.
Jamie, you're doing great. You are a tribute to American individualism.
Wish I could see his face right now.
Well, it would be completely impassive. You wouldn't see a single change on it. That's windows up and AC on. Repeat, windows up and AC on. This is the last 5 laps.
We're averaging 11.7. So averaging 11.7.
Jamie gets the checkered flag, but that SUV is no race car.
I gotta say, it's pretty intense, and I'm gonna be ill. We are going to be dead after this is over, as far from exhaustion.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I was starting to get a little more relaxed in it, trying just, you know, kind of laying back and kind of, you know, no big deal. But you have to focus. I mean, it was a real stretch for me even to open and close the windows doing that.
All right, so what was the difference in actual miles per gallon?
With the windows up and the AC on, it was right around 11.7 and 11.8. With the AC on and off, it didn't make a difference that much.
All right.
With the windows down, it was 11.3, and that's where it's making a difference at with the drag of the wind.
Wow, okay, that seems pretty significant over a full tank of gas.
Oh yeah, big time.
So clearly it's more efficient to drive with the windows up and the air conditioning on than to drive with the windows down.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what the computer said.
So that's that all figured out. Not quite. There's still a question mark. See, those figures are based on a computer model. That model assumes ideal conditions. Adam and Jamie like to test things out for themselves. That's why they're doing the Average Joe test.
Okay, everybody from Jamie's car, come on, get on the scale.
2 identical SUVs, 2 full tanks, and 2 identical payloads.
Everybody in Adam's car, let's get weighed in. Come on.
One SUV has the AC on, and the other has the window down. The logic is simple. The vehicle that uses the most gas will stop first. It'll be a 7-hour marathon, and the boys have to be prepared.
I got a whole regimen. I got bananas, I got cookies, I got candies, I got lots of coffee, and I got lots of music. Say,
on,
bring on
Jamie.
Jamie in the sludge.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
Ugh. Think twice before accepting a dinner invitation to Jamie's house.
This is lunch.
Question is, has he already eaten it?
This particular batch I call the 444. It has 4 fruits, 4 vegetables, and 4 grains. It actually tastes quite nice. It's sort of like gazpacho.
Sure it does, Jamie, but how do you actually eat it?
Slit the corner of it. This is sort of dripping because I had to thaw it, and you just kind of go like that, and it down it goes.
Don't know how he's going to manage that while driving around a racetrack at 55 miles per hour.
I remember like 7 or 8 years ago when Jamie first came up with this idea. He was really proud of it, and it seemed to make real sense until he came in with this bag of suggestively colored sludge. And he began to, you know, these little baggies, he'd snip the corner off and just suck the stuff out of the corner of the bloody bag. And so we're like, no, you have to eat it like a human. You have to eat it with a spoon. We're all not able to eat because of what we're seeing here. Let's suffer together, brother.
Well, you know, and also remember, going at that speed on this track, if you have a blowout, it may not be a safe thing.
The boom lift myth's already been busted.
And Buster didn't even spill his coffee.
There's no way a person could be hurled 200 feet from a 60-foot boom lift under normal circumstances. But how about abnormal circumstances?
I'm getting my forklift lesson for the day.
Here's the plan. The 30,000-pound boom lift will be placed on top of 4 storage containers, with its front axle acting as a pivot point. The arm will be cocked, and when it's released, the massive weight of the swinging machine will catapult poor old Buster through space like medieval ammo. It's audacious, it's ludicrous, it's MythBusters. First, the containers have to be stacked.
pull. You need to pull it so we get parallel. Yeah. Okay. Pull, Carrie. Okay, we're good here.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
That was teamwork.
I hope the rest of it is that easy.
You just totally jinxed us.
Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Can you imagine that 30,000-pound man lift just swinging through here? It's gonna be ridiculous. This is what I like. There's so much potential for a huge disaster.
I would clamp it from the top.
The containers will have to be reinforced to take the weight of the boom lift.
The engineering that we're doing here is just kind of gut and by seat of the pants. You know, we know how much this lift over here, the tosser, weighs, and we know how much those things weigh. We're eyeballing the thickness of the steel and the way that they're built and everything, and my money says that it'll hold just fine. This whole thing is just really one of the more extravagant stunts that we've done, I think. Hey, Carrie, make sure we extend it all the way out.
No problem.
Yeah, and now let's see whether we can do the same thing here.
The boom arm will be cocked by anchoring it to a weight.
I gotta say, you know, I don't think anybody's ever done this before. You know, this has to be a world first. Either that or it's just stupid.
Next, steel tubes have to be welded onto the front wheels. These have to support the whole boom lift as it swings down. So, it'd be nice if they didn't come off.
Measuring that hub, it's exactly 11 inches. And measuring this is exactly 12 inches, and you've got exactly half-inch stuff there. There's like no margin of error.
Well, that's why we have a round surface, round stock that we're shimming with.
Good thing Scotty's on the case. She's a welding wonder.
He's getting through it. He's a good student.
Thank you, Scotty.
Thinking. It's easy to do things, not easy to think about what to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie's having one or two thoughts about Buster's trajectory.
We want to get the basket tilted forward as much as it'll go, unless it totally like dumps out, because as this comes over, he wants to, you know, if it's like ends up like this, it's more likely that he's going to get slammed down into the ground instead of the centrifugal force slinging him out as he goes up.
Okay, I got it.
The tosser still refuses to turn over.
Oh boy.
I think that's good enough.
Okay.
One way or another.
I'm gonna be a trapeze artist.
To make it more fun for you, we're going to have to maneuver this thing over closer to the containers, and that means that I'm going to drag it with the forklift, but you're going to have to steer it.
Like that?
Yeah.
We're nearing launch. Where's our catapultee?
All right, Buster, no more yoga. You're going in the basket.
Not without some more gentle persuasion.
Oh, hold on, I'm stuck. Okay, okay, there. Right now we've got Buster in the basket. Scotty and Tori are up on the lift trying to secure some braces. It's getting really exciting. We're just about to lift up with this giant boom lift. No matter what, it's gonna be something amazing. Either it's gonna take the whole thing down or it's gonna throw Buster across this lot.
The question is, how far?
Well, I mean, obviously the tradition is we always have to see if we can catch Buster by estimating his distance perfectly. So, I don't know. I think about another maybe 15 feet that way.
got to be 100 times more, you know, thrust than what the Myth would have in it. You still don't think he's going to go a couple hundred feet?
No, I don't think he's going to go much farther than right about here.
It's almost time to crank up the crane. Jamie delivers one last safety pep talk.
Nobody gets under this thing. The crane or anything that's suspended, nowhere near it. You don't run across it because you forgot something or anything like that. Do not do that. It's totally, once this thing is up in the air, we're not getting near it. Our two failure points are going to be either the containers are going to buckle or those axle extensions are going to break the welds. So,
or both.
Or both.
Adam and Jamie are preparing to embark on a road trip up to 7 hours round Altamont Raceway, all to find out which gives you better fuel economy, turning on the AC or rolling down the windows. It'll be enough to give them white line fever, and it could get dangerous.
This test will not be fun. I'll have to pee, I'll probably have to poo before this thing is done. I'll have to be holding it in. Producer will be taunting me on the radio the whole time. His wheels are going to be screeching. We'll have a tire blowout at some point, I'm sure.
And that's exactly the problem. At 55 miles per hour, the blowout danger is too great. Safety officials insist on a shorter test at a slower speed. Plan B, using this pump, the guys will empty the SUV's tanks and then put exactly 5 gallons of gas into each one. Seems like a good idea, but it's a lot easier to put gas into a car than to take it out.
Well, the plan seemed really simple, but in classic MythBusters style, bringing a couple of cars to a racetrack, running them till their fuel is gone. 5 hours into it, and we haven't gotten started yet.
As it turns out, the tires weren't going to last on this track for a full tank's worth. And so we're reducing the amount of gasoline that we're going to have to go through to run this test.
It's turning out to be a big job. Everybody has to take their turn at the pump. A little music helps pass the time. Finally, the gray SUV's empty. So it all starts again with the white one. At last, both tanks are dry.
Well, we're finally ready to do this bloody test. These cars are out of gas. We're putting in exactly 5 gallons in each car, and we're gonna drive them until they run out.
Looks like we're ready to roll. Well, almost ready.
Okay, here you go.
There we go. Ready to go.
It's going to be cold in here.
Roger that, starting now.
Roger, starting. Now running.
And away we go.
Remember, these are identical vehicles carrying identical amounts of fuel and identical payloads. Because of safety concerns, Adam and Jamie will stick to 45 miles per hour. Jamie's gray SUV has the AC on full and the windows up. Adam's vehicle has the AC off and the windows down. 5 gallons of gas in each. Which will stop first?
We are cruising at 45 miles per hour.
Round and round they go. Where they stop, nobody knows.
It's getting pretty chilly in here. Glad I brought my coat. I pity the poor cameraman who doesn't have one on. It's kind of hard on your neck going around like this.
Remember, kids, this test is being done by professional drivers on a closed track. Your results may differ.
The computer test showed that blasting the AC was more fuel efficient than driving with the windows down. But what's this? Jamie's AC-cooled SUV is slowing down.
Yeah, I'm coasting now.
Jamie's car just crapped out, and mine's still going strong at 45 miles per hour. Looks like it's more fuel efficient to drive with your windows down than with your AC on. I don't get it.
So Adam, what do you think? Are you gonna keep running for another half hour or what?
I don't know. When I come in, I think we're just going to have to bust this myth and say that the fuel efficiency's better with your windows down than with your AC on.
Yeah, that's sort of what the test says, isn't it? Over.
I would not have called that at all. I'm really surprised. I'm shocked even.
30 laps later, Adam's naturally ventilated vehicle finally runs out of gas.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm leaving like this. That totally confounded my expectations.
There's no other way of interpreting it. We've gone over all of the facts of what went on here. I ran out first by running the AC.
Yeah, 15 miles ago. That's 30 laps that I did that you didn't do. I mean, I'm just like, I'm totally surprised, and I hope we've answered it once and for all.
Yeah, that's a significant difference in consumption, isn't it?
Let's go.
All right.
Windows versus AC, what's the verdict?
Well, the computer showed that it was actually better to run with the AC on. Not by much, but it was better.
I've got a little bit of a problem with that, which is the computer's actually measuring the airflow into the engine, not the fuel consumption of the engine. And it's basing its assessment on a computerized model under ideal circumstances.
Yeah, our average Joe test was pretty straightforward and kind of foolproof. You know, we put so much gas in, we ran for so long.
And it pretty definitively showed by almost 15% that running with the windows down was a lot more fuel efficient.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant difference.
So AC being more fuel efficient, I'd say busted.
Busted.
Yeah.
The boom lift catapult's approaching critical mass.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This myth has already been busted. There's no way anyone could be thrown 200 feet from a 60-foot boom lift, unless, of course, the boom lift happens to be balanced on some shipping containers and rigged to go off like a medieval catapult. Buster's hanging on for dear life.
It's looking good, man. This is gonna be pretty awesome.
He was just touching that post.
Oh, okay. Slow down!
Christine, hold yours, Christine. That looks pretty good. That looks good there.
Stop! That's really good and centered.
No closer than that, Adam.
Yeah, I know.
Mine's in.
You can keep coming. Mine's gonna settle right in.
Okay.
Settling in. It's good.
Mine up. Well, the pipes will start to spread at some point.
Yeah, so we should hold there and tie. We should hold there and tie off the quick release.
The containers seem to be bearing the weight of the boom lift.
We're not seeing any signs of stress on the containers or on the welds. So far so good.
Okay, I'm starting up, okay?
Yep.
Buster's a goner now.
Now the arm has to be lowered and cocked.
Stay back over this way.
Adam takes the strain in the forklift. Buster begins his slow descent.
Everything looks just fine.
Roger that.
As he lowers into position, the body of the truck rises, putting strain on Scotty's axle extensions. If it's all going to come crashing down, now's the time.
Okay. Okay.
Buster's in position. The boom lift catapult is locked and loaded. Any last thoughts?
I think the whole damn thing's just gonna fall down.
I think there's about a 10% chance of the whole thing falling down, about a 40% chance of Buster actually flying any distance, and the other 50% is Buster going, boom, right in front of the thing.
Okay, let's see.
Gently.
All right, everybody just grab yourself a piece of the cable.
Looks like a tug-of-war team on the quick-release cable.
For anybody that's not ready.
This is it. Time to answer the question. catapult, or catastrophic?
On my count in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whoops.
Yeah!
I don't think we're going to be returning this lift.
Oh my God! Destruction.
In the container canyon, there's carnage. The tosser's taken its last load.
Oh my, look at the wheels popped off.
The wheels broke right off
So,
the
hey, Adam, would you say it's safe to say that there won't be a second shot?
Buster isn't feeling 100% either. He really suffered at the end of the long arm of the law of gravity.
He lost both legs. His one leg separated and his hand ended up, what, 20 feet away.
Guys, congratulations. That's the most destruction Buster's taken in a single drop on any myth.
Still, he's nowhere near the gurney.
The distance to the furthest body part, I'd say you got 65 feet.
Looks like Adam was on the money with his prediction.
I think the whole damn thing's just gonna fall down.
I think there's about a 10% chance of the whole thing falling down, about a 40% chance of Buster actually flying any distance, and the other 50% is Buster going, boom, right in front of the thing.
It was kind of a slow launch. I actually expected to go a lot faster.
Trebuchets tend to be much more anticlimactic when they begin.
Is it a true trebuchet without the rope at the end?
Not
though?
really, no. And we'll get lots of mail about it if I say it is.
Yeah, so that just helping you out here.
Thank you. What do you think, guys? Is the myth busted?
Oh, myth totally failed. Completely busted. Totally, completely busted.
And Buster, busted. And Boom Lift, busted.
Everything's busted.
To the ground, busted.
So are you guys gonna stick around for the cleanup?
No, we're gonna go have some lunch for secret later.
Great.
Bye, thanks for helping with the fun part.
MythBusters, breaking big things for science every day.
Oh.
All right, still rolling.
Three, 2, 1, go.
The MythBusters are defying death in the quest for flight.
It's not a question of whether we'll get badly hurt, it's how badly hurt.
And we're busy busting myths about ways to legally beat the police speed radar.
Well, it didn't disappear.
Are you surprised?
Absolutely.
Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
And Jamie Heineman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Ever since we realized we couldn't, humans have wanted to fly like the birds. Gliders, hang gliders, and parachutes have made non-powered flight possible.
Woo! I fart on you!
But is it possible for a man to fly accidentally?
Plywood builder. Walk me through this one.
Apparently a construction worker up on the top of a building was holding on to a 4x8 sheet of plywood on a windy day, and the wind picks him up off the top of the building over the edge. Not only does he manage to hold on to the plywood, but he controls it well enough to be able to land several floors below in the building unharmed.
Cool, flying myth.
Yeah.
What's the overall plan here? What are we going to end up doing?
Well, I think Buster's going for a ride with a sheet of plywood, but ultimately, if we can, one of us should take a ride.
You know, if I'm going to take that leap with a sheet of plywood as my only safety, I want to do some very serious testing before we do that. I mean, I'm thinking scale plywood and figure correct weights to scale and really see what kind of lift ratios we get out of this thing before we take that leap.
No matter what you're searching for, you'll probably find it in Jamie's M5 storage system.
Always excellent.
If you look hard enough, you might even find a mini Buster.
Jamie, there's a guy here who seems kind of perfect.
It's a toy prototype built by Jamie.
I think we should go for the goatee, but that's just because I like a goatee.
Mini Buster is the right height, but is he the right weight?
I am roughly 6 feet at 180 pounds.
Thought you were 190.
Okay, I'm just using some easy, I'm 190. Let's say, stand 85th percentile male, right? 6 feet, 180 pounds. Proportionally, that's 72 inches to 180 pounds. 10 inches tall, 25 pounds. I just did the math. I need him to weigh 25 pounds.
So you're saying that he needs to be built out of depleted uranium?
Do you have some? Is it under D or U over here?
Adam figures he should be calculating volume, not size. So in fact, Mini Buster is close to being the right weight. The small scale testing also needs a sheet of mini ply.
Just almost exactly 50 pounds.
We're weighing a piece of plywood so that we can replicate this in a small scale.
But even this tiny piece of ply is proportionately too heavy. Christine reduces its weight by drilling lots of small holes.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. This is a scale replica of what, say, Adam or I with a full-size sheet of plywood would be if we were 10 inches tall.
A high-speed camera will shoot Mini Buster falling in front of a scale rule. A computer will then calculate his drop rate. The test is repeated with the mini ply.
Okay, Christine.
So what did we learn with the drop tests of the miniature Buster rig?
Well, the plywood slowed him down about 25%.
25% from a fall with nothing, right?
Yes.
Just a human falling.
Yes.
But 25% slower is still not slow enough. If they tried the plywood myth themselves,
The best that we would be able to accomplish, it sounds to me, is just broken legs and arms, but maybe not a broken back or a smashed skull.
I'm willing to settle for that.
it's too big a risk for a human, but no problem for Buster. That's once his rubber crash test dummy hands have been swapped for some plywood grabbing clamps.
See whether it actually will support somebody on it, because Buster happens to be about my size and weight, so looks like it works. Now, Buster, this won't hurt a bit.
So Buster's new super grip robo hands are welded to his arms.
Plywood.
According to the myth, the builder was holding a sheet of 5-ply when he took his unscheduled flight. That's made up of 5 thin sheets of timber compressed together. As well as trying a regular sheet, Adam and Jamie will use the 5 individual sheets to design their own flying rigs.
So what are you thinking for taking 5 plies from a sheet of plywood and getting the most amount of wind resistance out of them?
Well, my thought, first off, was to array them like a car leaf spring to where we extend the surface area.
And you might, of course, end up spinning like a helicopter all the way down.
Which might not be a bad thing, because helicopters, as we know, land a little softer than just the same shape without the propellers, because they're spinning and they get lift from that.
Yeah, but I mean, skydivers also have what they call a death spiral.
Well, there is that.
See, I'm thinking of something totally different. I'm thinking of laminating them in such a way that you actually get a curve out of it.
Sure, the original myth only involves 1 sheet of 5-ply, but Adam and Jamie really want this to work. So they're using the 5 single sheets to build the most efficient plywood flying rigs they can. Adam coats the cardboard sheets with light spray-on glue and then puts them together in various 5-sheet permutations.
It's a nurse's hat. Oh, Nurse Savage. So these two represent Jamie and my first ideas about the best ways to slow your descent using 5 plies of plywood. I went with the air scoop idea, but Jamie is trying to make the most square profile to the air going down. And then I started to think, could you just have a little hole in the center and get a lot more square footage? I'll try this. Then I started moving towards a scoop like this, so it's a kind of bridge between Jamie and I. And then we get to these like radical scoops, all of which can be done out of plywood. I've developed a feeding bag because I find lunch just takes too long and I'd rather just eat while I'm working.
Adam prefers the parachute approach, so he and Myth-tern Christine decide to check out Jamie's old army chute.
Maybe it works by the top being bigger than the bottom, and so air is scooped into it.
I think we need to inflate it to actually see how it's constructed. Because this is a little confusing.
Where's that fan? Let's see what we got. This parachute is about 12 feet wide and 28 feet long. That's almost 300 square feet of area working against the wind. Turned off my fan.
300 square feet, and not much weight.
168, it's about a 10-pound parachute.
I feel like I'm caught in an unruly evening gown.
All right, so it's about a 10-pound bag.
The parachute weighs 5 times less and has more than double the surface area of the 50-pound plywood.
I guess it might work.
So what have you been thinking?
I'm not sure which approach is best. Should we be going towards a parachute or an actual airfoil? You know.
Well, I mean, I think we want to do one of each. I think we want to do one parachute design, like my flying nun thing, and one wing design.
Using the cardboard sheets to design his wing, Jamie attempts to maximize surface area while not compromising strength. The scale prototypes for Jamie's wing and Adam's parachute are complete. Time for a test run.
We're going to do some drop tests with some of the first mock-ups of these flying rigs.
I've got one that kind of looks like the flying nun's habit, and Jamie's got one that's just a broad piece of as much material as he could get with a couple of stringers.
Hopefully we'll have at least some idea what this is going to do before we actually go out and do it in full scale.
First off, MythBuster gets no help at all.
0.9 seconds.
Go.
Then some combination wing parachute designs slow his fall.
Go.
A little.
1.11 seconds.
What's
Is
our
this
next
the Jamie
point?
wing?
Yeah.
Jamie wing.
3, 2, 1, go.
1.05 seconds. Back to the old drawing board.
Now for Adam's pentagonal parachute design.
That actually wasn't too bad.
That was the best one yet. That was 1.48 seconds.
But Jamie won't take this lying down. He refines his wing prototype.
Ready when you are.
3, 2...
He twists his wing to make it spin.
1.4.
It's interesting, that's up there with the high performers on the other ones.
Yeah.
So we've decided on the two that we're going to make. One is the hexagonal parachute and the other one is the wing here then, because this actually got almost as high a performance.
All right.
The cardboard scale models have done their job, but the real test will come when the flying rigs go full size. Scotty, Carrie, and Tori have been like little Santa's helpers.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
Whenever Adam and Jamie have devised some myth-busting mayhem, it's often been this trio's job to make their boss's twisted visions a reality. This time, however, they're going to be in the driver's seat.
That doesn't look right.
All right, guys, so your first story on your own. What have you got?
Well, what we're going to try to do is legally beat the police radar.
Legally, huh? So not the commercially available radar or laser jammers.
Exactly. We've heard all kinds of ideas, like jingling your keys in front of your window.
Disco balls, CD from the rearview mirror, foil on your hubcaps, putting LEDs around your license plate, microwaves, and covering the entire car in foil.
So how are you going to tackle this one? What's the plan?
Well, obviously, we need to get a radar gun. We're also going to try the LiDAR, which is a laser system.
Lift it up a little bit more.
And to test them, the first thing they're going to need is a car. Earl, the MythBusters Cadillac, should do the job. You remember Earl. He's the car the guys use for target practice.
Oh, man.
Our resident grease monkey, Scotty, has to get him back on the road to recovery.
It's going to be stubborn.
While Scotty coaxes the caddy back to life, Tori and Carrie do a little radar research.
You're not working fast enough, dude.
You got up to 16 that time.
That's it?
Yeah.
I felt like 60.
Now, Carrie's packing a normal radar gun. It fires microwaves that hit the target and bounce back at a slightly different frequency. The frequency difference determines the target speed. Tori's wielding a laser speed gun, or LiDAR. It shoots 1,000 samples per second of infrared laser light at the target. Speed is calculated by comparing the distance between each sample.
Before we get to the real car and do tests, we want to do some sample material tests on the RC car. But before we can even do that, we have to make sure that the RC car will even show up on the radar gun.
The RC car has a top speed of between 5 and 6 miles per hour. But will the radar detect it?
4, 5. We got a reading!
So the RC car is visible to the radar. Now, to make it invisible.
Right now I'm making extra shells for the body of the RC car, because now that we know how the radar and the LiDAR work, we're going to do some tests on all of our materials. Beautiful, it came out perfectly.
The game of radar hide and seek has been played out since World War II and has sparked the growth of stealth technology. Modern stealth aircraft have flat surfaces and sharp edges. They're also coated with materials that absorb radar.
So every foot?
It'll take way too long to coat Earl in all the materials the myths mention. The remote-controlled car is a much simpler option. But why the blue paint?
Theoretically, it's supposed to change the wavelength of the reflective light on the LiDAR, so we'll see if we can pick this up at a different distance. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Okay, go! How fast? 5 miles an hour, 6 topping out when you get to the finish line.
We'll never get pulled over for going 6 miles an hour.
So we're actually picking up this car sooner with the blue than without the blue. Isn't it supposed to be absorbing the light?
That's what they say.
It's actually making it easier for us.
Myth number 2, prism tape. This stuff's used to make fishing lures. It might fool fish, but can it rattle the radar?
All right, yellow reflective, go. Well, the reflective tape is, as far as the RC control is, it's a myth. I'm picking it up a lot faster than the control.
And I have no change at all. It's the same thing. I'm picking it up just at 50 feet.
So far, no good.
The most common myth that we've heard of is the tin foil or aluminum foil. So what we're going to try now is the aluminum foil over the car.
Go when you're ready.
37.
Is it doing anything?
I'm actually picking it up sooner. So if you're avoiding a ticket, this is not the way to go.
One of the myths says that an LED will mess up a LiDAR detector. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig up this test one with an LED.
Go!
LEDs are infrared, and they're supposed to scramble the LiDAR's infrared beam.
So the LED do anything?
The LED seemed to have no effect on the laser.
Well, it didn't have a significance difference, but it was about
10 feet in difference. We might want to try it on the big car as well.
So on full scale, that could be a mile.
The only thing left, a type of paint which is supposed to absorb radar.
It's actually embedded with a bunch of iron and makes it really heavy. It goes on like frosting. And it's so expensive that if you were actually going to paint your car with this, you might as well just pay off all your speeding tickets.
The paint's so heavy, the RC car won't even go.
Don't give up, Scotty.
Can barely go.
Has this myth been busted before Earl the caddy is out of the garage?
They look really cool, guys. Did anything you tried have any effect on the radar's ability to detect them?
The radar can detect all of these cars.
We also can write off the prism tape. It actually made it more detectable. It's supposed to deflect the laser, but it's actually reflecting it back better.
So the plan now is to go with the most popular ones, like flat black and tinfoil, and we have a few tricks up our sleeve as well.
But before Scotty reveals her tricks, can Adam make plywood become flywood? Adam and Jamie are testing the myth of a builder flying off a skyscraper while holding a sheet of plywood. They're helping the myth out by using 5 single sheets to create their own flying rigs. After testing scale models, Adam has decided on a parachute-like design, and Jamie is building a wing.
Go back further. So.
The plywood wing will be big, 4 feet wide by 20 feet long. And that's the reason they're measuring the workshop.
Never build anything inside a space that you can't get it out of.
The plywood sheets may be heavy, but they're also fragile. Adam removes his 5 sheets from the 12 available.
Screw.
Make that 11.
One tore, bringing it out, trying to get it out of the way of Jay, the cameraman.
Using a scale model, he calculates the angles for the full-size version. He measures up the sheets and then lays them out. Meanwhile, Jamie is placing the sheets for his wing on a cradle made from 2x4s.
Well, look at what you're doing. You're going to laminate it up on the curve.
Yeah, you know, I figure we'll get the glue to actually help it hold its shape before we put the struts in.
Jamie's plan is simple but effective. He'll achieve a curve in his wing by placing weights in the center of the plywood sheets. When the ply is glued, the curve should remain. Meanwhile, Adam glues his plywood using a Jackson Pollock impersonation. Then, to press the sheets together, Adam uses a Fred Astaire impersonation. Adam's pentagonal plywood parachute is taking shape. He's just got to remember, those sheets are really fragile. Now they're down to 10 sheets, and there's no room for error.
I need one more piece.
The last sheet of ply is found and slid into place carefully.
Got it? All right, cool. You can let that down. Thanks, honey. Boy, that was a pain in the ass.
Jamie's wing is looking good.
Oh, and I want to put the strip down.
Narrow strips of ply are used as strengtheners.
Yeah, charm.
Okay, now we go out and bring the pipe in.
Finally, the curve is achieved by adding whatever weights Jamie and Christine can find.
There we go.
Cool.
I'm actually really happy how this came out. And tomorrow when the glue is set, we'll remove all the wood, and hopefully this will retain as much as possible of this curve. This will give us something to work off of for the final touch, which is the twist, because I'm going to put a diagonal on this that'll torque this thing a little bit and create a propeller shape, which gives us the spin, and the spin gives us the lift, which slows us down.
Could a builder fly through the air on a sheet of plywood? Adam and Jamie have glued together 2 plywood flying rigs for Buster to find out. But how will they know if Buster survives?
Jamie, a key part of this myth is going to be how lethal is Buster's impact when he lands. And we have installed auto industry computer accelerometers in him before with greater and lesser degrees of success. I mean, we're always entering MythBusters meter hell. I think it's time that we build our own G-force meter.
Yeah, you know, if we can't find it, we'll build it ourselves.
Exactly.
Inspiration comes to Adam in the form of a light bulb.
I'm hoping that these light bulbs will end up being the sort of soul of MythBusters' home-built G-meter. We're going to put these inside a ball so that they break at a fatal amount of G-force.
And to add a little drama and realism, the bulbs are filled with fake blood. If they break, we'll know it.
It's a nice thing.
Isn't that cool? Don't you have all the same nefarious thoughts? Hey, you're dripping it.
The bulb is sealed and placed inside a pair of aluminum sugar scoops.
Ready?
Yeah.
Time for a test drop.
This should be the non-lethal distance. It made it. That's good. All right, I'm gonna try the high point. Ready?
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks gruesome, doesn't it?
Oh, what a horror show.
The new G-force meter is instantly christened the Ball of Death. The MythBusters have turned decades of occupational health and safety death descriptions into a figure for brain death. 80 Gs for just 32 thousandths of a second. Because the ball is solid metal, it builds up a lot of G-force in just a small drop. But once it's cushioned by Buster's head, it'll survive a much bigger drop. Jamie has used weights to curve the plywood for his wing. But what will happen when the weights are removed?
Jamie, this looks great, man. It looks like it held its curve quite nicely. It was pretty darn rigid.
Yeah, it actually is holding its shape quite nicely.
It racks like a monster.
Which is what we want.
Twisting the plywood wing will turn it into a spinning propeller.
Yeah.
This will further slow its descent, in theory.
So we can rack it this way or rack it this way, depending on whether I want clockwise or counterclockwise rotation when we go down.
Which way you want to vomit?
Backed up.
Have fun flying with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Adam's plywood parachute will cause a little motion sickness. He's left one section unglued so as it can be pulled together to form the plywood into a dish shape.
Hey, Jamie. I'm gonna need some help with this.
Now be careful, in a blink you're gonna end up with a split right along that line.
Jamie and Adam's plywood creations are nearly done. Jamie uses a diagonal cord to increase the twist on his wing.
Okay, now let it go. That's more like it.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
And Adam, well, he's just Adam.
Whoa!
It comes as no surprise that Adam didn't measure up to see if his creation could actually exit the building.
Wait, you're caught. Snap.
Okay.
Jamie's wing made it outside and into the truck easily. But Adam's plywood parachute is a pretty close shave.
God, that just barely fit in there.
The Flying Plywood test site is at Hamilton Base in Novato, an hour north of San Francisco.
I want one of these for myself.
After 47 years as an Air Force bomber and fighter base, Hamilton closed in 1976. The old control tower will be the ideal place to drop Buster.
I think we're gonna need to use the crane to get up here.
Well, that's what the crane's for. Shouldn't be a problem.
That's perfect. We're actually gonna do some drop tests with Buster and some various things that are mythically held to be able to help you survive a fall from several stories. I'll just move this over here.
Nothing much has changed in the last 100 years.
Hey, can someone let me out? Our project today is mounting up the high-speed camera gauge right here on my right.
The tests will take place in front of a scale ruler. A computer attached to the high-speed camera will then be able to determine the exact drop rates. And it's all for this guy. But does he care?
He's a very relaxed dude.
He doesn't know what's about to happen to him.
Human transport.
When Buster drops, the Ball of Death G-force meter will tell us whether he survives or not.
Okay, be careful with this guy now.
He has a brain.
Buster will be raised up on the crane and then dropped on cue via a cable quick release.
Once you get up in position, push the blue button and pull out the safety pin.
Okay.
When you pull out the safety pin, it's live, and when you yank on this, he'll drop.
I got it.
And to make sure Buster's the only one who drops, Jamie attaches himself to the crane with a safety harness.
This is so when the machine tips over, I'm held firmly in place and can't escape the destruction.
Those go under your butt. That was great. That was worth the whole season to watch that. There you go.
Up goes Buster, 60 feet up.
Oh man, Buster's toes.
So they can work out if the flying aids do slow him down, Buster's first drop will be totally unassisted and very painful.
3, 2, 1, go.
I was laying on the ground when he hit, and I felt the ground move a little bit.
I never get tired of doing that.
The high-speed camera reveals Buster is traveling between 34 and 35 miles per hour when he hits the ground.
What's the verdict, Christine?
I think he's dead.
That's a shocker.
Buster kind of looked like a baby bird that just fell out of the nest.
Since the police started using speed radar back in the 1960s, there have been a lot of myths about legal ways to beat it.
Are you ready?
Scotty, Carrie, and Tori used an RC car to put some of these myths to the test.
How fast? 5 miles an hour?
Now they're rigging up Earl, the MythBusters caddy, for a full-scale speed radar assault.
We're making a wheel made of mirrors that catches the wind. As the mirrors get to the back side of this wheel, they should reflect the radar back and fool the radar into thinking we're going slower than we actually are.
They plan to attach an array of mirrors to a bicycle wheel, which will spin on top of the car. But Jamie's got other ideas.
You get that thing spinning at 20 miles an hour, it's going to just, the glass is going to shatter, the thing's going to vibrate itself apart. I think you should get some 3/4-inch birch ply, a big rod compass. Draw yourself your 3-foot diameter circle and facet it off.
Suddenly, this radar rig isn't so simple. Jamie's just turned it into a big, complicated build. Still, it gives Scotty a bit more time to work on the caddy.
Come on!
It looks like she might need it. Meanwhile, Carrie's working on another myth.
I'm making a chaff gun that we can explode out the side of the caddy right now. I'm cutting up the foil into little pieces, loading it up like a potato gun, and shooting it off a fire extinguisher.
During World War II, aircraft under attack dropped large clouds of chaff to confuse enemy radar. The chaff was just small pieces of foil, which hid the plane's exact location.
Oh, I love it when things fit perfectly.
The chaff gun is powered by a modified fire extinguisher. And the test firing is a success.
So glad I gave up my desk job.
Did you ever have a desk job?
Second floor reception.
The revolving rig is also taking shape.
Theoretically, the radar will hit in here and it'll send a stronger signal to the receiver. And if this is moving slower than the car, then hopefully it'll read that instead of the car speed.
Carrie's also heard a myth about microwaves messing with radar.
I'm stripping the magnetron out of this microwave so we can mount it in the front of the caddy. And that way we shoot microwaves back at the radar and the LiDAR.
Well, if it doesn't beat the radar, maybe it'll intimidate the cop.
The LEDs didn't trick the LiDAR when they were mounted on the remote-controlled car, but Tori thinks they're worth another try. 300 LEDs will be wired up to the caddy's license plate. Finally, it looks like we're ready to roll. Revolving mirror rig? Check. Microwave gun? Check.
If I were you, I'd stay farther away from that.
Chaff gun? Check. LED license plate? Check. Now, do we have a car?
Whoa! That doesn't look right!
This is the California Highway Patrol Academy training course, and it's the ideal place to see if our Cadillac can slip underneath the radar. A few of the guys from CHIPS are on hand to oversee the experiment. If anything does beat the radar, they want to know about it.
This is gonna freak them out.
So in a lot of the tricked out cars I've seen, they've had a CD dangling from the mirror or they've had LEDs around their license plate. Does this do anything?
It's not going to do anything, and plus they're both illegal.
It's illegal?
You can't have anything hanging down from your rearview mirror. It's going to obstruct the driver's view.
So if you're gonna pull over somebody who has a CD hanging from their rearview mirror, I'm betting that you would pull over somebody that had a giant disco ball hanging from their rearview mirror.
Absolutely. I'd love to see that.
We're gonna try to get through the techniques that we think are kind of dumb first. We're gonna do them all together. CD can attach that to the mirror.
All these shiny accessories are supposed to bounce back the radar's rays and confuse it.
Which, by the way, that's illegal.
But it looks so cool.
Lastly, can you jiggle these keys? Make sure it hits the radar.
That is so stupid.
On each pass, Scotty will keep the caddy steady at just under 50 miles per hour.
We're about to do a test. You ready?
Okay, the Disco DeVille is locked, loaded, and ready to freak out the radar. Over.
Whenever you're ready, over.
On my way.
Ooh, got it on radar. 39, 40. 48, up to speed. 49.
All right,
I love that sound.
So keys, disco ball, CD, busted. No effect whatsoever.
Are you surprised?
Absolutely. All right, next let's do foil on the hubcaps.
Done.
The next radar myth, tin foil on the hubcaps.
Scotty, hit it.
$42, $43.
700 feet, 47 miles an hour.
Once again, though, the radar and the LiDAR have a fix on Scotty all the way.
Still jiggling the keys, still doesn't work.
Maybe that was too subtle.
I think maybe people think that because it's kind of crumbly, that the radar will shoot at the crumbles and maybe dissipate. But it's just one giant reflector, if you ask me.
You'll be able to see it from outer space.
Yeah, she's going fast. Or I'm just picking it up way sooner. 47.
Yep.
Oh, yeah! Foil's been foiled!
We'll see if the LEDs can light up this experiment.
One infrared license plate.
Perfect. All right, so the theory here is that these infrared LEDs are on the same wavelength and have enough intensity to fool the LiDAR.
300 LEDs are emitting infrared, but the LiDAR's own infrared beam is locked on all down the line.
47.
Busted!
I was aiming right at the LED license plate, and nothing changed.
Absolutely nothing changed.
Busted.
Busted.
Okay, let's try Carrie's magnetron gun.
And yes, I know I spelled magnetron wrong. That's supposed to have an E. Don't email me. That jumped up so fast. It is definitely working. The K-band radar operates on about the same frequency as a microwave, so we're gonna shoot microwaves towards it to try to confuse it.
I got a 49.
But the radar still has the caddy in its sights. No change at all. The magnetron theory is busted.
I had no difference in the speed. I got like 48 miles an hour. Is that what you guys got?
Yeah, and I picked her up right away.
Maybe the aluminum foil firing chaff gun will be able to trick the radar.
Scotty, we are good to go on the chaff gun.
On my way.
Run it, Scotty!
As the caddy passes the radar, Carrie will trigger the chaff gun from the back seat.
It didn't go! Why didn't it go?
I have a feeling she forgot to pull the pin.
Look it. Oh! Oh my God.
Total dumb. I don't know what's going on.
A quick reload, and we're ready for take 2. This time Carrie's right on cue, but again, the radar is unaffected.
It all blew to the side.
Which is going to be more expensive, the speeding ticket or the littering ticket?
The littering ticket.
All right, now my favorite, the Wheel of Death.
The mirrors on the Wheel of Death are supposed to be revolving at a slower speed than Earl is traveling. Will the radar detect the speed of the mirrors or the speed of the caddy?
46, 47.
The radar result is exactly the same.
44, 42, 40.
Carrie detects an anomaly.
It's giving a weird Doppler reading, but overall, it's not really making it look like it's going any slower.
In fact, the only surprise is that you wouldn't be pulled over for having this on your car.
It'd definitely catch my attention, but it's not over height. There's nothing against it.
There's only one thing left to do to try and make the caddy stealthy. Cover the car with matte black paint. Will the matte finish reduce the car's reflectivity and absorb the radar signal?
It's like a 60s gang car. We're gonna pile in and go to a rumble.
Well, it sort of looks like a stealth fighter.
This is it. This is the one. This is the one where we think we may have the edge.
What do you got?
I got 48.
47.
47. Okay.
Got it right away. That was our best bet, and it's busted.
Time for the guys to report back to Adam and Jamie.
Well, we tried almost every theory that we heard. Disco ball, CD, keys.
Busted.
The ever popular foil in the hubcaps.
Busted.
LED.
Busted.
Microwaves.
My favorite. Busted.
Chaff gun.
Surprisingly busted.
And black paint and tinfoil all over your car.
Busted.
Totally out. Amazing.
The only thing that gave us any result, but just barely, is my favorite, and I think you're gonna like this one, Adam. The radar Wheel of Death.
Oh my God. What did this actually do?
Hardly anything at all. It just varied the audio tone that the radar sent back that let you know how fast the car was going.
I think if you're gonna get out of a ticket, short skirts and crying is still the way to go.
It's been a bad day for Buster.
He's lost his head.
They've amputated his hands, they've operated on his skull, and they've made him bleed. Could it get any worse?
Buster's gonna die.
While they're at Hamilton Base, Adam and Jamie are using Buster to test out a few other flying myths, like umbrellas. Christine loads up the Ball of Death G-force meter with the fake blood-filled light bulb.
All right, safety device number 1.
Buster's first mythical safety device is an open rain umbrella. Well, at least he won't get wet.
3, 2, 1, go. That was great, Jimmy. Come on down. Well, it actually held up quite well. I'm looking forward to see if it slowed his fall even a little bit. First fall was 35 miles an hour. My guess is 33 miles an hour. Were you able to see that from up there?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. The umbrella held up like until just about the last 10 feet.
It's not the fall that gets you, it is that last 10 feet.
There's plenty of fake blood, but the Ball of Death reveals a surprise.
That's not that broken at all. There's one of two conclusions we can draw from this. Either the umbrella did a significant job in slowing his speed, or we're a little incompetent with our home-built G-meter. And personally, I'd vote for the second one.
The high-speed camera reveals what really happened.
Feet first.
So, because the umbrella held him upright, he actually fell faster this time, 38 miles per hour.
Yeah, but what about the impact?
Speed isn't the only factor in a fall. How you impact also affects survivability. In his free fall, Buster's head and body hit the ground at the same time. Even though the umbrella drop was faster, Buster's body acted like a shock absorber, greatly reducing the impact on his head. That's why the ball of death only cracked.
He's probably dead anyway.
Oh, you're dead. Let's get the big picnic umbrella.
All right.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Good to go.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop. That was pretty cool. That didn't look entirely unsuccessful. I'm trying to keep a straight face, but I can't.
The picnic umbrella reduces Buster's speed to 29 miles per hour. Slower, but not slow enough.
He's dead.
It's no myth that a parachute is designed for this purpose, but can it open in only 60 feet?
On my mark, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That worked almost stunningly well.
Buster's down to 28 miles per hour, but unfortunately, his head smashes into his own knee.
I'm sorry. We did everything in our power, and Buster didn't make it.
Yeah.
Get off him, you pervert. He's a poor, defenseless dummy, and look what she's doing.
As well as being killed 4 times already, Buster has sustained some pretty serious injuries. Time for some in-the-field surgery.
All right. Let's get him up. Let's fly this guy.
But sometimes even a crash test dummy needs a little positive affirmation.
You know, Buster, everyone really appreciates how you're willing to take one for the team time and time again. Are you ready for a piece of plywood? Oh, I can tell you're feeling it. Oh, he's ready.
Finally, the original flying builder myth is to be put to the test.
He's gonna die, but it's gonna look great.
We're locked and loaded, over.
Remember, in the myth, the falling builder is able to glide gracefully back inside the skyscraper, totally unharmed.
Go. Buster was such a good dummy.
Rather than slowing him down, the plywood increases Buster's velocity to over 36 miles per hour. His body snaps the 5-ply sheet in half.
He's got blood dripping out the back of his head.
Oh.
Getting used to all this blood, Christine?
Still grosses me out.
We can look at the speed tests and we can look at the death ball, but I don't think I need to see either of them to say this one's busted.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. He went straight down. There was no deflection off to the side or anything, and he's done for.
Let's go get our solutions. Let's go try my wooden parachute.
Okay.
Adam and Jamie have taken the 5-component layers of the plywood sheet and created 2 flying rigs for Buster to try. Jamie's design is based on a spinning wing, and Adam's is modeled on the parachute.
Ready to drop.
These rigs represent 3 days of skill, passion, and effort. Pity, really.
Well, a fat lot of good that did.
And that's why they don't make parachutes out of wood.
Oh well, the best laid plans. It was a nice idea.
Nice try. It worked most of the way.
I'm taking solace in the fact that your wing is going to fail so utterly spectacularly.
You're probably right. But then you never know.
Then you never know.
Jamie is quietly confident his rig will do the job.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Woo! Do you feel better now?
I do. I feel a lot better.
All this Buster dropping has created an impromptu MythBusters fan club.
So Adam, what do you think? Did he go slower at all? At least he didn't flip over again until the right at the last minute.
It didn't spin at all, and then he went totally sideways and landed on its edge, and he just collapsed with it. It was a horror show. And unfortunately, he was off center, and the high-speed camera caught none of it.
Bummer.
Oh, man, poor guy.
And the crowd's verdict.
That was better than I could have ever hoped.
Buster's day has come to an end. Now it's time to see if a MythBuster can fly. Adam and Jamie rig up the zip line from the control tower to the crane. The crane backs away to tighten the cable.
Stop! Oh, I'm totally looking forward to flying with a piece of plywood. Even though Buster took a hard hit from it, we're doing a more controlled test so that hopefully Jamie and I won't get horrible head trouble while doing it.
We're ready to go.
But it is always a strange thing to throw yourself out over the edge of a 60-foot drop. Your body resists it.
But this is the only way to find out if it's possible to control the plywood sheet in flight.
We have liftoff.
On you! Forget about controlling this thing. There's no control. I mean, I tried pushing my head up against it. At the peak, I could not get it. It's just like all over the place. And I was holding it dead center.
Huh. Well, that's the most interesting thing about this whole thing so far. I mean, we've tested everything we could, but short of actually jumping off a building and seeing whether you die or not.
What?
Jamie has even less control over the plywood. There's just no way you can steer this thing.
Well, more than any other data we can come up with, Buster's a pretty clear indicator of how survivable a 60-foot fall actually is. But what was our actual data?
Well, not surprisingly, the parachute was actually the best at about 28 miles per hour. Right behind it was the large umbrella at 29. What really surprised me was that the plywood was no use at all. In fact, it broke over Buster's back upon impact. And our rigs didn't do anything at all, didn't help either.
From a controllability standpoint and from a velocity hitting the ground standpoint, this is one of those myths that's just unequivocally busted.
Yeah, absolutely. Myth busted.